For me, this has got to be one of the most exciting game announcements for a very, very long time. I'm a huge fan of The Expanse, and we're finally getting what looks to be a deep and complex RPG, an action RPG at that. Now, the official trailer for this just dropped. We don't have a release date just yet, but what we do have is quite a bit of cinematic footage, as well as some gameplay footage as well that you can see right here. So, the new game is called The Expanse, Osiris Reborn, and I was very fortunate to get an early look at this trailer so I could bring this video to you as soon as possible, and all thanks to developer Owlcat Games. And you may recognise their other RPGs, such as Pathfinder Kingmaker, as well as Warhammer 40k Rogue Trader. And just so you know, this video is sponsored by Owlcat, so my thanks to them for that. And do check out the links in the video description where you can find out everything you need to know. So, The Expanse. It's very easily one of the best modern sci-fi settings out there. It's gritty, it's realistic, yet it also ticks all the right sci-fi boxes, at least for me. And that means it's right for making a video game. Now, I think it's fair to say at this point that many people out there, many of you watching this video, are going to be making some comparisons to the Mass Effect series, and well, that's not a bad thing by any means. That is an absolutely amazing franchise, and God knows we need a brand new game along those sort of lines really soon, and looks like we might just be getting one. So the game is very much related to the TV series. In fact, it takes place during Season 2, specifically during the events surrounding the Eros incident. And Eros isn't the only place you're bound to visit. You're also about to go to locations like Ganymede, Ceres, Mars, as well as Luna. Details on the whole game are still pretty light, but it does look as though the ship is going to play an important part in the story, not in the sense that you'll be able to pilot it, but in the sense that it's going to be a home, much like the Rosanati is from the TV show itself. In fact, the ship you take control of in the game is described as the most advanced ship in the system, so that particular detail just on its own is pretty interesting, isn't it? You take control of your own character. This can be custom made. They do have a bit of background story already associated with them. They are a Pinkwater security mercenary who's caught up in the events of Eros, and that's a particularly big crisis that we all know about. Beyond that though, you'll be able to customize this character quite extensively. You'll be able to choose whether you want them to be an Earther, a Martian, or a Belter, for example. Your ship crew are also going to play a very important part on the game, and they'll also be accompanying you along on missions. And each one of these has their own speciality and their own particular traits. Beyond that, the crew also have their own background, their own stories, and their own motivations. And it seems like some of them may also be hiding secrets. So this is going to be particularly interesting to see how those relationships develop over time. As for the gameplay itself, and as you'll have seen in the earlier gameplay footage I showed a moment ago, and we will take a closer look at that again in just a moment, it is all a third person. You'll be taking a combat in third person, and the combat is cover-based gameplay focused as well, and it also has some class-driven powers in there. Let's take a closer look at the gameplay itself then, because this looks particularly interesting and there's some absolutely gorgeous locations here. So immediately it appears there's some type of EVA activities. It looks to me at least that this character is on the outside of a ship. Maybe they're just approaching a window here, but you know, it looks to me like this may be a surface. Either way, very clear we're in the Sol system here with Jupiter in the background. Some great aesthetics here, both externally as well as internally, and some of these are very well-known locations. It looks like this probably is a well-known location, and it's very obviously near Jupiter, and my suspicion is that this is the agricultural dome, the hydroponics dome, where the character Prax initially lived on the moon of Ganymede. At least that's my suspicion. Now, moving on, we come to this location. Now, this is very obviously a Ceres, and you can see the proof of that right here. Very, very obvious. Now, Ceres is one of the most important locations in the Expanse. For those of you that don't know, it's Ceres Station, and it's a hollowed-out dwarf planet or very large asteroid. Ceres is in the asteroid belt, and it's a truly massive location, and it's just one of the homes of the massive faction, the Belters. And we got here a really nice cyberpunk-inspired area as well, so yeah, looking good. It's one of the things that I really like about The Expanse, the obvious separate cultural elements between the different areas in space, regardless of whether you're looking at Earth, Mars, or places like this. It's also really nice to see that we're getting some EVA activity, and not just in the sense of walking around, but also, zero-G as well. When I unpause this, check out the animations. These look really nice. It also looks very, very dangerous, doesn't it? I'm also particularly interested to see how combat plays out in this game because, well, action RPGs can live or die by the quality of their combat. It's obvious that Owlcat have put a lot of thought into combat, and we'll have a little bit of a look at the cinematic elements of this trailer, which also kind of confirms that as well. And yes, a nice little nod here that the humans are not alone. So, like I say, the cinematic section of the trailer really did spend a lot of time emphasising on how the combat should play out. And although, of course, this is cinematic, so we need to take it in that context, it does give us an idea of some of the elements of gameplay we can expect to see. For example, the game, just like the TV series, is making a big deal out of the fact that artificial gravity does not exist within this fictional world, and therefore it opens up a lot of opportunities for gameplay, and that includes walking along both the walls, the ceilings and everywhere else, as well as taking advantage of the zero-G environment and floating around. Mag boots are obviously very important as well. Beyond that, I really did like seeing the use of technology here, both for the use of offensive weapons as well as defensive equipment. And yeah, a quick highlight here of both zero-G and mag boots being used to great effect. Another thing that stood out to me throughout the trailer was the camaraderie between the crew members. Obviously, like I say at the start, your captain is the person you take control of, and you have two other crew members who accompany you. Each one of these has different specialities, and that appears to be present in both their abilities as well as the equipment they're taking with them. Now I'm curious to see how this will actually play out in terms of gameplay itself, whether it be an evolution of what we've seen in Mass Effect, where you could give commands to your other crew members, or whether there's something more to it, we'll have to see. But yeah, look at this here. Two different specialists here, one using a drone to assault the enemies, another acting like a tank and being very, very defensive. A clear nod then to how combining different abilities, different specialities could stack up and give you some great opportunities. Also, I don't know if you noticed, but the guy with the shield also did a little dash a moment ago. Just look at this. So yeah, this cinematic section of the trailer is really nice because it's very densely packed with a whole ton of different technology and how it may be used when it comes to the game. Now, beyond all of that, another area of the Expanse that just makes it such a rich storytelling environment is the sheer abundance of politics in there. The politics between different planets, the politics between different factions, and this makes it for such a rich and, well, great storytelling setting. But there's also another element, and that of course is the proto-molecule. It should be obvious to anyone who's either read the book or watched the series that if you're going to set the story on Eros, that the proto-molecule is of course going to feature, and yes, we get confirmation of that right here. And it's not even a subtle confirmation either, is it? So yeah, a whole ton of things going on in this trailer, and really nice to see a game set in the Expanse universe, and particularly coming from Owlcat Games, who have great heritage when it comes to RPGs. They make some truly great games. And yes, whilst an action RPG is a first for them, I think they're in very good territory because they've called in upon some great experience here. Let me know in the comment section below what you think about all of this, because I'd love to hear from you. Thanks for watching this video all the way through, and my thanks again to Owlcat for sponsoring this video. Do take care, and I'll catch you next time.